What's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. Today, I want to talk about a team that has been relatively quiet this window until a couple of days ago. They are your reigning Premier League champions, which is Arsenal. Now, they have been linked with a couple of players throughout the window, a couple of wingers like Barcola and Diamande, but they're off the table. And I think it's kind of surprising that they've been this quiet. Maybe it has to do with FFP, maybe not, maybe I'm just spewing. But normally, a champion like them, they get right back into the market. They're splashing on a big name player or two. And with the recent reports coming out, we're starting to see them gain a little steam and, really queue up, get some depth, maybe another starter to push for another Premier League, maybe even a Champions League at this rate. The first player I've seen them linked with that I think they will definitely get, I'd be stunned if he's not on them by the end of the window, is Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle. I've seen around 70 million for him from a couple reports. That's like the initial offer. But I think maybe at the end of the day, Newcastle, they don't really have much leverage in this deal because Guimaraes seems like he's fully set on leaving Newcastle and joining Arsenal. I think it'll probably be around 80 million. I would be stunned if we see anything higher than that, to be honest. I think this is a great signing for them if they could pull this off. Because on the side of Bruno Guimaraes, Newcastle's kind of, I'm not saying it's going terribly wrong, but the project's kind of in a stagnant mode for them. Like, they obviously have money to spend on players, but their recent windows, all their top stars have been leaving. We saw what happened last year with Isak. Anthony Gordon just went to Barcelona. All the guys, the great players on that team that you're playing around are all leaving. So it kind of makes sense for you to leave, especially when you're a top talent and you're not playing in Europe next year. So going to Arsenal gives them a chance to not only start, I believe, but it gives them more depth. And the reason I think this is just a perfect fit is because when you watch Bruno Guimaraes, he's very good defensively. He's like another DM. He could sit up perfectly in defensive style, and he's great at pushing forward. He's not like a quick midfielder or anything, any this flashy midfielder, but he gets the job done. He has a lot. He's great at passing. His set pieces are spectacular. And we know with Arteta, we know with Arsenal, their strong suit is set pieces. It kind of gives leeway off of Saka and Rice just in case they're hurt, knock on wood, obviously. But it gives them another option as a set piece. I mean, obviously, we saw him take the penalty in the World Cup. Didn't look great. But in the World Cup, Brazil didn't really have a great World Cup. It was all Vinny, and no one, Cunha kind of stepped at the plate here and there, but those are kind of games where lower tier teams. And, Gabriel didn't have a great World Cup. So I feel like Guimaraes in there, he played great at this World Cup. I wouldn't say, maybe great's an overstatement, but he had a good World Cup for the standards. If you take away that penalty miss, which that's all he really got known for. For Arsenal, I think they do need this midfield depth. I'm not saying their midfield is terrible, but they just came off a long season. Not only Arsenal, but the Arsenal players, especially their midfield. Declan Rice, we've been seeing already that he's already banged up. He needs time off. I don't know if it's hamstrings. Odegaard played a very long season. He seems perfectly fine. Zubamendi, on the other hand, I'm not the biggest Zubamendi fan. He definitely gets the job done. Especially when he came in the World Cup final, backing up Rodri, he played great minutes there. But I think I would definitely probably take Guimaraes over Zubamendi to start. And I just think with the depth they're going to have, it's great to rotate because they're going to be pushing for the same thing again. So I think just getting him, another great set piece taker, and a person who, in the style of Arteta, defensively is great, can help you on set pieces and even push the ball up. He scored some great bangers for Newcastle over the years. He is outside the box. He's very, very lethal, and that's what they need. The other player they've been linked to, which I think is a little ridiculous, maybe you guys disagree. Ridiculous in not the sense of, I just think it's never going to happen, but they were rumored with Vinicius Jr. Oh, my God. If they were able to bring Vinicius Jr. to the Premier League, that would be the biggest transfer, maybe this decade. I don't know what's going on there. It would be interesting because their attack is very lackluster. Their style of play, I don't think, would really fit him. But the Premier League is very intense, which is what he likes. Vinicius is very quick on the counter. You know who Vinicius Jr. is. His dribbles, his shooting, dancing. He has it all to him. Yeah, he has this aura to him, as weird as it sounds. But I just don't think that one's going to happen. Mainly because it's already coming out that he or Real Madrid are going to extend him another contract offer. and he's probably going to take it. I can't really see him leaving Madrid, to be honest. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. Not there's really no loyalty anymore in the sport. It's just staying with one team unless they've been pushed out. So if Vinny were to go there, that'd be insane. Um, but a report came out like an hour ago that he's going back to Real Madrid's camp. They're going to talk over contract extensions, and at the end of the day, that's the dream, man. Anyone would take Vinicius Jr. at this rate. However, I do think they need to get more aggressive. I was kind of stunned they didn't go for John Stones. He just went to Inter. I think with Saliba's back hurt and he's pushing off the surgery or he's just going to rehab. I think it came out he's going to rehab. He's going to be out a couple months. And there are times Gabriel without Saliba is a little lackluster. I mean, yeah, you have Calafiori, but I'm not too high on him. Timber's a good center back, and then this Mosquera kid. But I think with the way Arsenal play, you're going to need the solidified center back. Because Timber, they've been playing him on the right a lot, and then it's like, oh, if you move Timber over, who are you going to get? So I think Arsenal definitely have to strengthen that back, depending on the extent of Saliba's injury. I also think they need to get another attacker, especially on the left. Martinelli really just doesn't do it for me anymore. He has flashes where I'm just like, wow, Gabriel Martinelli's a great player. But there's other instances where it's just like it's useless, especially with Trossard leaving. You're gonna have to get a backup left. We obviously know Saka's injury history. Madueke was very good last year, so them two really flip up on the right. And then the other one, I saw it striker. I don't know how people really feel about Gyökeres, especially the last year. I mean, like you look at his numbers and it was great. Or I wouldn't say great. I would say just good to an extent for the first season in the Premier League, first season with Arsenal. But like he really wasn't like all that when you really watch the games. The one player I've seen, I don't know how true it is to the extent that I've saw that they were in for was like a swap deal with Atletico for Alvarez, but that saga's crazy because it sounds like the only place he wants to go is Barcelona. So I don't know what their deal is going to be in attack. I do think they should definitely get someone who could play on the left again, just in case Martinelli, isn't really showing out. Maybe I'm blanking off the top of my head if they have someone, but right now I just think Arsenal need to start getting active in this window because they kick off the Premier League in like 25 days, and they haven't made a move. Like this Bruno Guimaraes deal could completely fall apart. You could return to Newcastle, and at the end of the day, it's like, whoa, Arsenal didn't spend any money because you look at the names that they were linked after, and I think the Vinicius is very unrealistic. I think Guimaraes should happen, and then it's like a couple of names where it's like, yeah, is this source really reliable? Is this really a thing? So if you're an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't like freak out too much because you guys are the reigning champs. You lost in the Champions League final off penalties. But I think you had a lot more departures than coming in at the moment. And I would, the World Cup's over. Guys are starting to return. Your club's got to start acting, especially as reigning Premier League champions. We've seen in the past couple of years, Liverpool spending a lot of money. Chelsea in the years they were winning. Man City, obviously. Like when you win the Prem, you spend again. You want to keep going. You want to keep that momentum up with the squad. And I don't think Arteta's going to get impatient. I think they're fine. I think they know what they're doing, obviously. But as a fan, it's that ants. It's that you're getting antsy. You want them to see someone. You just want to see someone new in the club, especially after a lot of departures. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for supporting recent videos. If you're an Arsenal fan, get in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Peace.